Hi crafters, it's Chris from Crafts with Chris and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to make this cute little fun fold card. This is not my creation. This is created from another person online. I can't remember where I got it. I'm go down this rabbit hole of trying to find different card ideas. I really love the way this one turned out. It's super easy to make. It opens up 3 different panels, just like that. Isn't that cute? We will be making this today. I will be sharing how to make this so you can recreate this also. I'm using the Meant to Be stamp set. It comes with coordinating dies if you want to include the dies. You have a large amount of dies. Says R Hive. You can cut out the word R Hive and then the outline there. You have 2 wings because you have 2 different size bees that you can make. So you have 2 different size wings, 2 different size bodies for the bees. You have these flowers. You have this flower here. There's an outline there. The heart. The antennas. So there's quite a bit here. I really wanted these hexagon dies. I love these dies. These are really neat dies. So you can see I used the die here. This was the smallest die. With these dies, they not only cut out that hexagon shape, they also cut out a frame that goes around it. You can do a lot of things with this. You could use this frame. You could cut out multiple different colors and coordinate the frames in different colors. You could do whatever. I chose not to use the frame. I'm just using the hexagon. I'm using the DSP is called Cute as a Bee. Now, I've used a lot of this. Go over all the paper you're going to need first. You're going to need a piece of black, basic black. This is your card base. This is cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. You're going to need a piece of Pool Party. This one is cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. Going to need a piece of basic white. This one is cut 3 7/8 by 5 1/4. Then you're going to need a piece of the DSP. This is cut 4 7/8 by 3 3/4. You will need a piece of lemon lolly to do your stamping of your bee and your die cutting. You'll need a piece of petunia pop. This is going to be embossed and die cut out. You also will need basic black to cut out the little antennas of the bee. You also will need a piece of the floral and gingham vellum paper. I use that to cut out the little wings here. I'm bringing in my paper trimmer. You're going to need to do some scoring and cutting. This is the Pool Party. You're going to take it on the 4 1/4 inch side. You're going to score at a 4 inches. So it's going to score just 1/4 of the inch of your paper. So you can see that is scored there. Then you're going to take this and you're going to need to cut it at 2 1/8. So we're going to go ahead and go 2 1/8. We're going to repeat that 2 1/8. You will have a piece, a 1 inch piece left over. So you have 2 1/8 and 1 1 inch piece. I'm going to leave the paper trimmer here. We're going to bring in that piece of DSP. With this DSP, if it is a pattern like I have here, you're going to want to make sure your 3 3/4 size right here, your width of that, is vertical. What I mean by that is when you line up your Pool Party here, with your strips, this DSP is going to go over that. So you don't want your, say we had to cut it this way, then your bees are going to be upside down, crooked, whatever. If has a pattern like this, it doesn't matter. So just be aware of your pattern, your design, so you know what you're cutting. You're gonna wanna turn your paper to the 4 7/8 side. We're gonna do cutting here. This one here, because this 1-inch size piece here is gonna be in the middle, you're gonna cut one piece at 2. And then what I find is the easiest is you're gonna take this piece here, we're gonna turn it, and we're gonna cut this at 2. And what that's gonna do is when you line this up on your paper, let me get my paper trimmer out of the way for you. When you line this up on your paper, that middle, you're gonna be able to line up the B's exactly perfectly. Where if you just cut the 2-inch pieces, 2-inch, 2-inch, and have that bottom, that pattern will not be exact. If you want that pattern to match up, you're gonna wanna cut it that way. What we're gonna do is we're going to bring in these pieces of Pool Party. I'm gonna bring in my bone folder. That little piece end there, that 1/4 inch, we're gonna take our bone folder and just give that a good press down. Make sure we fold that. Once you have that done, you're gonna bring back in your Designer Series paper. I'm gonna take my Stampin' seal and we're gonna just line that up on these pieces here. And again, you're gonna wanna make sure you put on the pieces. It's gonna go like this. So your 2 larger pieces here with the folds are gonna go on the right-hand side. Then your little middle piece with the fold is gonna go on the left-hand side. So you wanna make sure your pieces are all lined up here. So this one's gonna go here. Actually, before I put that center on, I'm gonna bring in my piece of basic white, because it's not going to line up exactly. So before I put on those other piece of DSP, I'm going to take my basic white, I'm going to run some Stampin' Seal on the edges. I'm going to flip this over. This is going to get put on the front of the card. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to line that up on your white, basic white. Make sure it lines up, it's not sticking out, it's right up at the top, and then close that over on that glue. And you're going to notice that your Pool Party is going to overhang. That's what it's supposed to do. So you want to make sure everything's lined up. Then we're going to bring in this middle piece, and I'll show you why you don't want to put that DSP on first, because what we're going to do is that little flap there, we're going to put it on this side, so this middle piece opens differently than that top. Now this can be a little challenging because of the glue. So you line that up. You don't want to overlap it. You want to make sure that they can open freely. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and put this one on. So remember, that flap is going to go on the right-hand side. And it can be a little finicky, so you just got to be patient with it. And that looks about good. So now you have your pieces that flop open. Before we put that DSP on, I'm going to bring in that basic black so I can get this tacked down. Just going to add a little bit more glue in the center. And then this is going to go right on this basic black. Now, as you can see, the Pool Party, it's the flap here is a little bit in compared to these guys are a little bit more out. So that's why you want to wait to put that DSP on. because you want to line that DSP up by the edges so that you have a nice continual look with your card, if that makes any sense. In my head it makes sense, but I don't know if it makes sense to you guys. I'm going to take that last piece, I'm going to line these edges up. There's your card all ready to go to be decorated. So that fold is very simple. You guys could see that went together very quickly. It's a very easy fold. We are going to do our stamping now, but before we do our stamping, I wanted to give you guys a couple of tips on how to use your photopolymer stamps. I have shared this before, but it's been a while, so I will share it again. When you buy your photopolymer stamps and they're brand new, there is an annoying little fact about them that there is a residue left on your stamps from the manufacturing company. It happens to all of the photopolymer stamps, and it's just a fact of life. What you want to do to condition your stamps before you use your stamps, this is my favorite thing to do, and it works great. Take your Versamark ink, and you can take this little insert out with all your stamps on them. Take your Versamark ink and just go around them all and give them a good layer of the Versamark ink. Then take your stamps, put them back in your stamp set and close it up and let them dry with that layer on there. It's not going to hurt your stamps at all. It will condition them and it will help you get a more even layer of ink when you stamp. You can also use a mat. This is an older mat that I got with my blocks a long time ago. But we do have a stamping pierce mat, which is basically the same thing. And it's foam, so it's got some give to it. As you know, with the photopolymer stamps, they're very hard stamps. They don't have the give. So this will help you when you're stamping with photopolymer to give it a good, even stamped look. We're bringing in that piece of lemon lolly. I've got the bee stripes. It's the largest bee in there. You're going to see two sizes. You want to grab the largest one. You're going to ink that up with your Memento. Then we're just going to stamp that on our lemon lolly. I've already done this. I thought I was recording. You're going to want to take one of the faces of the bees, whichever one you want. I use the smiley face here. You're going to want to stamp that out with your Memento. And then you're going to cut that out with your die cutting machine. You're going to use the largest bee die in there to cut that out. You're going to want to bring back in your card. You're going to also want that small bee body. We're going to take lemon lolly. Be careful to when you flip this over, you don't want to put that in your ink. We're going to take this bottom panel and flip it. And then our bee is going to be stamped right here on the bottom right hand side. So you're going to ink up that with your lemon lolly. I kind of angled it a little. You can stamp it however you want. I'm going to close up my lemon lolly. I'm all done with that. I'm going to bring back in our Memento. I have the small bee stripes. I'm going to ink that up with my Memento. I'm going to line this up on here. Hopefully, it's hard to do when the camera's in front. I have the small wings of the bee. Again, Memento. The little antenna. And then another bee face, whichever one you want to use. And that's it on that part of the card. Next, you're going to bring in Pool Party. We're going to stamp at the top of the card. Again, be careful when you flip that flap so you don't get ink in it. I have the sentiment cute as a bee. So I'm going to ink that up with my Pool Party. And then I'm going to stamp that up in the top left-hand corner. Inside, when you open it, it's going to look like that. And then you still have room in here to write. If you needed more room, you could always put a piece of basic white on the back, and you can use that to write on. I'm going to bring in those pieces here. I've got the bee that's all cut out. I have a piece of the petunia pop. It's already cut out and embossed. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut this out first, and then you're going to emboss it in that cane weave 3D embossing folder. I have the little antenna cut out of basic black and the wings cut out of that gingham vellum. I found the easiest to put his wings and his antenna on was to bring in the Stampin' seal and just kind of put some of this on the top here. Just go around a little. We are going to use a Stampin' Up! Dimensional to pop him up, but I found this was the easiest to get these glued on. I'm going to take those antennas, kind of put that right about there. Pop that out a little bit. Then I'm going to take the wings. Those wings there. I might move that antenna a little. Yeah, that's better. So there's your little bee. So we're going to flip him over. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to go ahead and put them on, make sure I get one on the antenna. That'll hold that in place. And then I'm going to take and make sure I get those wings taped down with the Stampin' Dimensionals. So I put 5 on there. I like my dimensionals. They're not that expensive. I know some people do not use a lot of dimensionals. I'm going to take this bee. You're going to glue him on here. So you can glue him straight. I like him at an angle. I think he looks cute at the angle there. Then you're going to bring this guy back in. We're going to take 2 dimensionals. Just going to stick them to the front here. And then we're going to place our bee on those dimensionals. And then there he goes, opening just like this. So that's it to the card. Isn't that cute? To finish this off, I thought those tiny bee trinkets would look so adorable on here. I found the best way to get these bees on is your take a pick tool with the putty end, and you want to pick up one of these bees like so. So you want to pick them up so the bee front is facing you. Turn it around. You have the back there. And then I found the best way to do this was to get your liquid glue. So you're going to want to just squeeze a little bit of that glue on there. You don't need a ton. This is the strongest glue that's going to hold them. So I'm going to put one over here. I'm going to do a total of 3. So that's it to our fun fold card. Isn't that cute? 3, I don't know what this, like I said, what this is called, but I call it we'll call it the triple threat. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this card. I hope you guys enjoyed this fun fold. And thank you so much for watching.